Good morning, everybody. Well, by the time you watch this, it'll be 6 p.m. So good evening, everybody. I just got back from the gym, having a nice green shake. Because why not? Why not? Why not start bringing new things into your life that are apparently damn good for you? So the title of this video is Happiness Comes When You Stop Ignoring Reality. So a few weeks ago I thought about this title, but it just didn't feel like the right time to make a video about it. But I think it's so true that so many of us, myself included, I still deal with this. We try to see reality different than it is. I actually mentioned it I brought up this quote, or I just mentioned it in the last video, that you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So I felt like this would be a nice transition to this topic. For instance, Tony Robbins, he talks about how, if you have a garden and stuff and, weeds come up, you can't just wish the weeds away. Like, there are no weeds, there are no weeds. No, there are weeds. It's time to go find them and pull them out, pull the weeds out and get them out. In our own lives, in so many areas of our lives, we have weeds that we have caused ourselves. Because again, we are responsible for what happens in our lives, or at least the circumstances, and we're responsible for how we react or the action that we take or that we don't take. Both ways, there are consequences. So what kind of consequences do you want? So you can't wish for the weeds to not be there anymore. Like, there are no weeds. I believe I'm being positive thoughts. There are no weeds. You open your eyes, the weeds are still there. You have to take action. You can't see reality different than what it is. You can have an imagination, a vision of what you would like it to be, but then you got to take action to bring that vision into fruition. So, for instance, I love this example because, let's see, yesterday I drove some riders, and one of them, she brought up The Secret, the movie The Secret. And that movie, which I hope some of you have seen it, but if you have not, it's available on Netflix, I think still. That movie influenced the trajectory of my life. Like, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for watching that movie. It had such an impact on me. But what they talked about in there, for instance, is like, if you're having financial issues and, you're getting the bills in the mail, some of us don't get them in the mail anymore. We just get them by email or a notification in an app. But think about it, when you go to your mailbox, mine is like right over there. So if you always anticipate the bill being there, it's like, cause like you're behind, you haven't paid it yet. And you're like, you just know, you don't even go check your mail anymore because it's just gonna be stacked with bills. Well, there you go. The universe grants you your wish, which is a subconscious wish, that the bills keep showing up. But the bills, and you can't think like, okay, the bill's not showing up today. The bill's not showing up today. And meanwhile, you're not working harder or creating a budget for yourself where then you can catch up on the payments. You're not doing all that. So that means tomorrow the bill's going to be showing up. You can't. Happiness comes in, peace comes in, that calm feeling that I always talk about being centered, that comes when you take action in your life, the right kind of action, not the overexertion action, but you have to take the right action that brings that peace and that happiness into your life. So that means, whether that means you have to, work a few extra hours at work, or for instance, for me, like, being an Uber driver, that means just working an extra hour, or who knows, changing my approach with the way how I treat customers, meaning having free bottles of water in the car, or having extra air freshener or hand sanitizer, stuff like that. Little things like that. It's like, okay, they could probably give me more tips just because, taking care of them more. It's taking these kinds of actions and changing your approach so that then the vision that you have for your life can come into fruition eventually through the action that you take right now. So let's see what else I can think of. For instance, drinking this. I've been drinking, I've had throughout the years, I've been doing the whole green juice smoothie, and every now and then I stop. And then things with my health start popping up. Nothing serious, but either you gain some extra weight or you get like puffy in the face, some inflammation here and there. And it's because you got to think of, what are you putting in your body? What am I putting in my body that's causing this? And in the recent year, I've had some I would say joint issues, which has not been fun. It's not been fun. And I mentioned, I think like 10 videos ago, about you're more powerful than your DNA. And I mentioned how when I was growing up at age 10, I was diagnosed with having juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And in the last, I don't know, 10 years, maybe, well, I've definitely been in remission. It wasn't my same experience when I was 10. Maybe my legs would bother me if I was on my feet for too long, or if the weather, it started raining or something like that. But otherwise, I've been pretty good. But then like a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I started experiencing some pain in my feet, like around my toes. I'm like, this is weird. And I think it was because of these boots, I wore them for such a long time, and working as a bartender, just constantly on my feet. Eventually, I didn't get new insoles, and every night I would come home, my toes would be in such pain. So I think possibly it caused, something with issues in my feet. English is definitely my first language, and I'm fucking up right now. But then, with certain diet habits or trying out keto, it definitely had some great impacts, losing weight and staying in shape, stuff like that. But then, I did some research where sometimes high fat, high protein diets cause, I believe, the buildup of citric acid in your joints. I'm like, whoa, okay. And then, I'm working as a bartender, and, maybe you drink a little too much beer and every now and then. And that all contributes to the experience that you're going to have in your body, how it's going to react on you. So in the last month or so, last 2 weeks, it's been pretty painful. I've been taking like either Advil or naproxen, like at least once a day, just so I can do my job and, still enjoy my life. And I realized it's like taking that pill is ignoring reality. My body is speaking to me. I'm 35 years old. I shouldn't be having this. But by me taking the pill and not changing my diet, what I consume, that I am responsible for the consequences that I'm experiencing right now. Nobody else. I can't blame the beer industry. I can't blame the guy who created keto. I can't. I chose. I made those decisions to try something new, which I don't regret, because I think it's all part of the experience. But eventually things catch up, and it's like, are these things good for me? Same thing with like, is this job good for me? Is this friend good for me? Is this romantic partner good for me? Is this town, the city, is this good for me? Is the country, you could just, all that kind of stuff. In every area of your life, you can always ask, like, is this thing good for me? And eventually, if you keep holding off on breaking up with somebody, or cutting out a friend out of your life, or cutting out, certain sweets or whatever it is, until you do that, you're going to keep experiencing that same reality. And you can't ignore it. You trying to ignore it leads to, again, suffering, unhappiness, a lower quality of life. So this long story just basically to say that now I've started adding chlorophyll. I've had these supplements for a few months now, and I only just started using it. Decided to add it. It's even more green now, and it tastes really good. It's like, why not? Why not put good stuff into your body so that you can have a better life? I mean, think about Tom Brady. Everyone has their own opinion about Tom Brady. I think majority of people like him, are inspired by him, and the ones that don't like him essentially are projecting onto him, because subconsciously they realize that they're not doing the right things to make them excel in whatever area in their life, or just in their life in general. I mean, sure, he's a great football player. He loves that sport. He's obsessed with that sport. But also, if you read his book, The TB12 Method, He talks about his diet. He talks about how he's, I forgot how long, but both him and his wife are doing the alkaline diet, which means that you put essentially more greens, more alkaline infused foods, which allows your body to have the 80-20 balance, which is 80% alkalinity going into your body and 20% of acid forming foods, like, maybe some protein or fish, stuff like that. So when you look at a guy like that who's taking responsibility for his health, look at what he's able to accomplish. Think about what you could accomplish by no longer ignoring reality, taking responsibility for your life, for the actions that you take, for the thoughts that you have. You can change your thoughts. If you keep thinking again, like, no, the bill's showing up, I can never get ahead, I don't have the money to afford these supplements, I don't have this, I don't have that, I can't. Well, guess what? Tomorrow morning, you won't be able to again. And it's a sad reality. Why do you want to live that sad reality? Look, I'm not some guy on a high chair. I'm standing right now, so I'm on no chair. But I'm speaking from experience, and right now I'm standing here and I'm feeling pain in my feet. It hurts, but I'm doing something about it. You gotta do something about it. If you wanna live a different reality, you gotta start by taking action now. And in time, who knows, depending on what you're trying to change, it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks, might be a year, but guess what? You're gonna attain that vision, that reality, and it's gonna be awesome. So, cheers to you. I believe in you. It's time to start believing in yourself too.